Hi guys, I hope you all are doing well. Welcome back to Snackin Sundays. So this is the beginning of Holy Week. Crazy, Lent went by so fast it feels like. Feels like March never ended, but Lent is somehow almost over. And this week's readings and gospel are quite long. I'm just going to be talking about the gospel again because it's quite long. It's like almost all of the passion of Jesus. But one part that I want to talk about is when Jesus and the disciples went into the Garden of Gethsemane after the Last Supper and after all of that happened, where Jesus washed the feet of the disciples and whatever, Jesus and the disciples went to the Garden of Gethsemane, and there was one point where Jesus and the disciples stop, and Jesus says, "Stay here while I go and pray. Stay awake, stay and, pray while I go alone and pray." And so Jesus goes away, and the disciples end up falling asleep. And Jesus comes back after he's done praying and sees that the disciples are asleep and wakes them up and says, "Why are you sleeping? Like, stay awake and pray. I'll go off and pray." And so again, Jesus goes off and comes back to find them sleeping. And this happened like a couple of times. And what really struck me is that sometimes in our faith life, we can be like the disciples where like Jesus is calling us to stay awake and to pray, but we fall asleep. And in our faith life, like that can mean like we just kind of forget about Jesus, or we don't make time for prayer, or we just kind of put the whole faith life in general on the back burner, and we can fall asleep in a way. And what Jesus is calling us to do is he's waking us up, almost like he's putting his hand on our shoulder and being like, "Hey, like wake up, like I'm asking you to pray. I'm asking you to be with me and to like grow in friendship with me." And like again, we can fall asleep, but Jesus continues to wake us up and continues to call us back to prayer and to remind us of our identity in him. And especially this week, like Jesus is calling us to pray, and he's waking us up from sleeping in preparation for him waking up when he rises from the dead. So just, I encourage all of you to take some time every day and pray, especially in this being the Holy Week, like the pinnacle of our faith coming up next Sunday and Easter, to just pray, to make time to pray, to make time for Jesus, to stay awake this week, to not fall asleep and not to fall into this, like mediocre faith life, but to really come alive and to really feel the Holy Spirit in our hearts working through us. So yeah, that was a big part of the gospel that I found. Again, if you guys saw anything, let me know, DM us. We'd love to hear from you. And next, I'm going to be talking to Amy and breaking down the gospel a little bit more. Okay, that's so much better. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Maria.
How have you been?
I've been good, really good. How are you?
Good, I'm good. It's like 10 o'clock at night when we're filming this, so this is why my lighting is really bad. Amy's is good.
My lighting's great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Mine's bad. I don't know. The lights are all weird. But let's get right into this. So, what's your snack?
I have hot chocolate with whipped cream and chocolate sauce, but I'm not going to tilt it more because it's going to spill. But yeah.
That definitely beats my snack. I have caramel M&Ms.
Okay, well that would be a win with my snack.
Definitely.
Too bad we can't see each other.
Stupid quarantine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so great snack. I think we have a theme with liquids happening because last week Kiara had water. So
very creative.
You're definitely doing a better job with the snack theme with whipped cream and everything on top. So great snack. Any highs and lows of the week?
Highs and lows. Well, okay, I always like to start with the low because then you end on a happy note. Low is I went back to work this week, and it was okay. It wasn't that bad, but I mean, working isn't my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But that's okay. My high was that I have FaceTime my friends a lot this week, which is great because I really miss them. So
yeah, I think that's the nice thing about like this happening now is that there's so many different ways to just stay in contact with people.
Exactly. I would not be loving life without FaceTime.
Yeah. Great. Well, those are some good highs and lows. So one of the questions that I have for you, and I talked about this earlier, is like how we can fall asleep in our faith, and like sometimes literally. We were talking about this before, about how sometimes we literally fall asleep in prayer.
Been
But
there, done that.
yeah. So other than literally falling asleep, what does it kind of look like in your life when your faith kind of falls asleep?
Yeah, I mean, there definitely have been times, and I would say that like those are the times where I'm not prioritizing God.
Hmm.
And like it's not like falling asleep as in like it was an accident. It was like it's a decision to, not put God at the center or not make him the most important thing. Maybe that means not praying every day, maybe that means not praying for as long, whatever it is, it's kind of like not as much commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, not good because your faith is, but that's really true. I can like relate to that, and that's a really good point. And then I mentioned something about how Jesus sometimes wakes us up, how he woke up the apostles in the gospel. So what does it look like in your life when Jesus will like wake you up?
Well, I think, and like obviously going off of what I just said, like waking up is when I like find the commitment again almost. It's like, so when he wakes me up, it's almost as if he like gives me the opportunity to do what I haven't been doing. So like he makes time for me to pray, and I'll say, oh, like I have a lot of extra time, before I go to bed. Oh, like maybe I should pray for 30 minutes.
Hmm.
Or yeah, he just presents me with an opportunity to do like what I haven't been doing. And it's like I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like, whoa, that's so like it's so perfect that like when I recognize that I have the opportunity, it's kind of like when you first open your eyes, and then like actually taking the opportunity is like waking up and becoming fully conscious, because it takes me a really long time to wake up in the morning, and so like it takes 2 steps.
It's a two-step process waking up.
Exactly.
That's really funny, but that's really true, and I think that's really, like it's relatable for all of us. And Jesus does wake us up, and sometimes
Exactly.
it is a two-step process. Like Amy waking up in the morning. Um, yeah, that's super great. Thank you, Amy, for telling us a little bit about your faith journey, and
Yeah.
we love
Thanks for
it.
having me.
Of course, and great snack.
Thank you.
When this is over, we should eat caramel M&Ms and drink hot chocolate.
100%.
Everybody should
Every
do that this week. Everybody, this is your challenge: drink hot chocolate and eat caramel M&Ms.
perfect.
Okay. Have a great week, guys. Have a great week, Amy. Talk
Bye.
to you guys later.